So yeah, my name's Will and I'm Welsh and I'm a poet and a magician and I like to entertain people and I like to learn and like to have fun and help other people have fun. That's sort of what I'm trying to do with my life, I think, at the moment, whatever that means. Um, I don't know what you make of that. I don't know. At the minute, I'm thinking a lot about some quite deep things. Um, I get in a bit of a what do I think about most? It's hard to answer this. I have a lot of varied interests, so I'm always just trying to learn more about a lot of different topics. I'm interested in everything from ancient mythology to artificial intelligence and the cutting edge of science, and just I don't know. It's at the minute what I'm really thinking about the most is the link between astrology and the precession of the equinoxes and the zodiac. That the ancient Mayans and Egyptians were counting this celestial cycle of 26,800 years that repeats and that it's been split into 12, and we're at a changing time. And I'm trying to understand what that's going to mean. If it means anything at all, I don't know. It might mean nothing. Um, but yeah, we're in the dawning of the age of Aquarius right now. So I'm thinking deeply about that a lot. And yeah, trying to think about where the world's going to go, what artificial intelligence is going to bring, and how that's going to change things, especially as a writer now that machines are starting to produce writing. That's really exciting but troubling to me. So I'm fascinated by that at the moment a lot. And I use a website to talk to the machine and get it to generate text for me to read a lot. And I'm sort of trying to pick through it like it's an astrology output, like as if there's any meaning in it where there maybe isn't at all. You know what I mean? Because it's not come from any conscious source. But I'm trying to find meaning in it. It's pretty niche interest, but that's what I'm at the minute. Hmm. I think mindset is an attitude. It is possibly like character as well. You know, mindset is for me being determined and to sort of have values that you try and hold yourself to, but also I think in a way because we're all social, we each have our own values and we're trying to sort of not project them onto others, but trying to lead by example, I think is the way I'd think of it. You know, we're all seeking good behaviors we see in other people. When we see someone else do well, we think, oh, I should have done something like that. And equally, when you see someone doing something you wouldn't want to do, you know, that's against your mindset. And you don't want to behave that way. So I think a mindset is about having character and about being determined in what you believe you should be doing. And yeah, trying to be sort of centered on a goal and centered on focused on what's important to you. You know, mindset is being in that moment. Like, yeah, it's an attitude. I think. I don't know. It's not something I've thought about that much before. I think my mindset right now, after like writing poetry for the last 5 years and trying to be interesting to people, my mindset right now is to keep my eyes open and to pay attention to a lot of different things and to try and come to terms with what I think it means and try and convey that to others, you know, in some way. Um, my mindset, yeah, is to just be open to a lot of different input and trying to make sense of things. I think I sort of, my mindset is to try and be honest, actually, mostly, and to tell the truth, even if it's hard. And I sometimes get in trouble for that. But yeah, my mindset is to yes, to try and be honest with myself and other people, I think. Yeah. Okay. I think when I was young, I wasn't very confident socially at all. I didn't really notice a lot of stuff going on, like gossip games and drama things going on. And I kept a lot of hidden, and I was afraid that people would judge me for. I've often done things in the wrong order and the wrong way, and had to learn by mistake. And that's in not just in the way I talk and act, but in like the way I even stuff like tying shoelaces and stuff. I couldn't tie them properly till I was 12. Doing things in the wrong order. I'd leave the house before I put my shoes on, and when people see me like cooking, for example, it looks like chaos, but I feel like I'm in control. I don't know. It's I was too scared to show. You know, I was quite reserved and inhibited. But then when I got into like performing poetry and expressing myself and learning by mistake what works and what doesn't, when I got into putting thought into how I communicate, it changed the way I spoke. I started to properly enunciate every syllable of every word and trying to make it, when you're focusing on connection and communication, it has really altered the way I act and deal with others, trying to listen and trying to speak clearly. What was the question again? So in my 20s, I was very strictly like materialistic, very skeptical of anything, the unknown, unexplained questions like theology and what's the nature of art. These questions weren't of interest to me in my 20s at all, because I was very much a very militant atheist, picking apart other people's beliefs and debating with everyone about what they thought and trying to prove them wrong. And then since getting into writing and performing and making music and sort of feeling like that stuff is coming from a place that I can't explain from a materialistic sort of scientific basis, because I sometimes feel like compelled in a bit of a mania to do something. I not really know where it's going, but I know there's something happening that I need to, like, it's sort of like being possessed by the idea, and it's about escapism. When I'm like rehearsing and writing and recording and uploading the thing, all of that is just happening without me really making a plan and writing down what I'm going to do and then doing it. It's sort of, I feel possessed to do it. So that's been it's changed the way I see a lot of things in the world, because it's just, I mean, now I'm reading old mythology, and that's ended up going into like religious writing as well, and different cultures having different stories that connect with people, whether it's like the spider god in Africa of Anansi and the Norse god Loki, and seeing the connections and the commonalities between what people were recording in these songs and stories, that trying to find something universal that connects with people. That's where I'm at now, where I wasn't when I was young at all. That was all people talking about nothing to me. I was just very interested in science and maths when I was younger, but now I'm more open to a lot of different ways of thinking about the deeper things, I think. So yeah, other people's mindsets. I guess sometimes I see other people behave in a certain way, and I'm honestly just like, you can listen to podcasts of people who have a different life to you altogether, and you can sort of get a view into their world. You can see people talk about stuff that have such a different experience to my own. It's interesting to me and fascinating to see other people, especially if they're very different to the way I behave and talk. That if they've got the confidence, and I believe that they're being honest about how they feel and how they think, it's genuinely interesting. I don't want to be like judgy or prejudiced against a particular thing. I want to see what they think they're saying, and maybe they're lying to themselves. Maybe I should judge them, but it's because you need to be a bit discerning with what you take in yourself. But other people's mindsets, it's up to them. Everyone thinks I think everyone's trying to say what they think needs to be said. Everyone's like making what they think is missing. Everyone's, on a path of their own evolving mindset. So other people's mindsets are fascinating to me, just because it's so different to my own as well. Because you have to be. It's hard to put yourself in other people's shoes, but faced with, hearing people's stories, like I don't know. I watch like Nigerian comedy sketch shows, or I'll watch, um, this podcast called Risk in America, which is it's mostly like gay and bisexual and people into kink stuff, and they talk about this stuff very openly and honestly, and it's all stuff that's not in my wheelhouse of experience at all. But I can listen to these people telling their stories and just be like, yeah, just sort of trying to understand what their life is like. So other people's mindsets are interesting to me, but yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question, but um, I think well-being is about a balance of things. It's not just one thing, and it is about. I don't want to like compare it to a computer game, but say if you've got The Sims and you've got different bars of like social stuff, um, the health is obviously dependent on good diet and exercise. People know that, but it's hard to actually put it into practice when we're easily distracted by, computer games or TV shows or escapism into books and stuff. I read Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code in one solid 24-hour day and didn't do anything else but that. But I wasn't really taking care of my own well-being by living in that world. Do you know what I mean? And I was, I should have had a shower. I should have gone to the toilet. I wasn't looking after my own interests at that moment. It's hard to fully get well-being. People should be taking it seriously, and health. But I think we're all sort of creatures of habit, and we get in routines that we're not really analyzing them to decide what we should be doing as if we're like a person we're responsible for helping. We are. You need to step back and analyze what you're doing with your life to really look at whether you are taking care of your own well-being and health. So yeah, I'd say health, good exercise, good diet, and another thing is you've got to have a goal and try and be better than the day before. It's like that scene in American History X when the guy is in prison and his teacher comes and he doesn't want to see that teacher at all. And his teacher says, "What have you done that's made your life better?" I think you need to answer that question if you are to truly find well-being and good health. You need to be actually focused on that, and you need to be actively deciding what you should be doing tomorrow and today. Otherwise, it's so easy to get distracted and go down a path where you haven't really chosen what you're doing, and that I do think can easily lead to poor well-being and health. So yeah, I do a lot of cycling, and yeah, I like to cook. I like to take cheap ingredients and make something more valuable out of them. So I like to cook using fresh food. I like, yeah, I mean, cycling's great because you get fresh air. Even in the winter, I'll cycle with full waterproofs on. So yeah, I like being able to get out and go somewhere without having to depend on public transport. I mean, I'll take a train and go and I'll take my bike on a train, but I can get faster on my bike than a bus or a taxi most of the time. By the time you waited for the taxi or, walk to a bus stop. So yeah, I think cycling's a big part of my way I'm keeping healthy. And yeah, I like to keep my mind occupied. I like to have, that's another thing cycling's good for, because, or any physical activity that you're doing something with your hands, it's, you allow your brain to keep working on whatever you're worried about, whatever problem you're trying to solve, and it helps you see things. If you're just sat in a room and you don't go out and you're trapped with this same problem you're trying to fix, if you don't change your environment, you're not really getting anything new in, and your brain needs something new coming in to sort of get some cogs turning, make some neurons light up. You need to be, using it. I'm trying to, I think the way I'm trying to be healthy, is to try and have a balance of things. I really like Renaissance men, so they're not just men, but like the Renaissance characteristics where people who use their brain also use their hands. It's about, I learned so much working, doing manual labor and seeing like a guy who could name all of the birds from the calls, he could name all of the trees. I've read so many books and I turn up on a building site and I don't know anything, you know what I mean? I had to really step up my game and learn how to do a lot of physical stuff, and that helped me in so many ways. Just doing 3 years working with a builder got me out of my own head, where I can get like lost in my own ideas, but sticking to the tangible realities. You need to be centered to, grounded to the moment, and doing something physical, whether that is cycling or any other form of exercise. Using your body, it works. It pushes the blood around, pushes all the stuff into you brain, it gets everything going, and that's about really being alive, I think. So, yeah. Well, I think strength it's misunderstood. Obviously, there's you can be physically strong. I'm 6'3", and I'm quite a big guy, so I don't really worry too much about other people being stronger than me, right? Which is something I notice other people are maybe fearful of that. And I've never really felt afraid by interactions with people, even when there's conflict, you know what I mean? Because I know they're not really going to do anything about it. Or I feel like I'm confident in that way anyway. So strength, I might have a different relationship to that to most people just because of my size and how sort of less likely it is I'm going to be like a victim of someone trying to use their strength to overpower me or something. Strength can be like, I don't know, strength of mind, and having, when you say resilience, it's really about determination and focusing on achieving your goals, So, I'd say it's determination, is resilience. Okay, I need to restart this. So, strength and resilience is two ideas together. That is about, for me, it's having the courage to risk failure so that you can learn from that mistake or win like a massive reward if you've actually, it's worked great. You need to have the strength of character in your own, to have the courage of your own convictions, and the resilience not to let it really knock you back too far if you do suffer any sort of misfortune. So strength and resilience is about risk and reward for me. I think those are tied together in the way I see the world. I think I guess when you're asking me that question, where do you draw your strength from? I'm thinking to when I felt weak or when I felt like under attack or something like that. And that's when you need to draw strength. So sometimes if I'm, feeling weak or feeling like sad about something, or this, I'll draw strength knowing that even if people like might have their own opinion of me and what I'm doing, that they don't really know what I'm like. They know a little bit or whatever, but it's, they don't know about me cycling out to give food that I was supposed to throw away in the bin at work and going out and giving it to homeless people. They don't really know about that when they're typing some crazy shit on the internet about me or whatever. I draw strength knowing that I'm trying to do good, even if I'm failing, I'm trying to do it well, and that my intentions aren't bad. I draw strength from knowing that I'm trying to do, that I feel like even when I might try something and fail, I was trying to do something good, so I draw strength from hopefully having the right attitude and trying to, I don't know, trying to, I don't know, trying not to ramble, but I'm doing it now. Trying to be clear. I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Where do you draw strength from? Um, yeah, I'm just thinking, like when I worry about whether I've done the right thing in a certain situation, or whether those are the things where I feel like I need to draw strength, because I am quite, if I'm on stage or doing a job, I have to present confidence as if I'm like an extroverted person, but I'm really quite an introverted person. I'm happy alone, really, with books and stuff. I'm not. So yeah, when I'm worried about whether I'm doing the right thing, I draw strength knowing that, like, I've been at least trying to do the right thing, and that my attitude's good. I think. I don't know. I feel like I've been rambling a lot about this. It's a hard question to answer. It's hard to. I don't know how much context to give you, because yeah, there was a time about 5 years ago when I was really struggling with a lot of things. That something happened that I wasn't prepared for, that really knocked me for six, and that really shook what I thought I knew about the people around me and the way I saw the world and the way I saw myself. So the fact that I became a poet 5 years ago was a result of, yeah, just needing, what happened. So it's, I was getting a lot of out of character um, ideas coming in to the fore of my brain that were nothing like what I was normally used to, and they felt like they were all dark, and they felt like an easier path would be to just pull that string and go down and see where that road led. And I really knew that I didn't want to, but it was really hard to. It felt such a powerful draw. Um, so the sort of darker ideas would be like, I was, yeah, daydreaming about revenge. I was daydreaming about crime and about stealing. I was daydreaming about, yeah, like all stuff that I was never used to even having that idea pop into my head. So yeah, I had to have resilience to know not to let that be where it was going to lead me, because it was, I knew it was wrong. You know what I mean? And it was all as a result of what had happened. But yeah, it was. I don't know. You have to trust your conscience. So yeah, I think you really, with resilience, you've got to trust your conscience. You will know with what in that moment whether it's right or wrong, and you have to listen to your conscience to let you know what you should be doing. And yeah, you have to trust that there is some sort of natural pendulum that will point you to what you should be doing, and you have to make a conscious decision to do the harder thing than the easier thing. So yeah, I think resilience has come from, yeah, just trying to do the harder thing even if it might not lead to immediate gratification. I mean, I don't always manage to do it, but I try. I don't know. Yeah, so you're asking questions about mindset, about resilience, about strength. And obviously, you're asking these questions to a lot of different people to find out what, I don't know, maybe what strategies people are using to live their own life by, I guess. You're asking people these questions to sort of look at what other people have as their own values. And yeah, you must be, I mean, you must be interested in trying to see what similarities and differences come out. But as to what you're doing it for, I don't know, I haven't really had the time to really dwell too much on it. Um, but I think those are the things I'd imagine you'd be getting out of it, just seeing what other people are doing about these, big themes, and how they're tackling their own problems, I guess. Um, I think I've always felt like an outsider in so many ways that it's hard for me to even attach myself to, a group, um, community. I think it's rare to see these in the people I've worked with in jobs, or it's a rare person that I'll see behaving and embodying these values of resilience and strength and stuff in the face of adversity or whatever. But I notice that moment and I see it and I try and adopt that in my own life if I see someone behaving admirably. But I think it's rare, and a lot of people are lost, to be honest with you, and are not really focusing on these things for themselves. I think, yeah, we could do with more of it in the community. I think definitely. I don't know, just thanks. It's been fun to talk through ideas like this. I didn't really know what I was going to be doing, so I don't really have any preconceptions, but it's been interesting to even, I haven't asked these questions of myself, and maybe I should have done. So thank you for that.